As Albert Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, with our kids' lives at stake. Well, this is a textbook case of insanity, in my opinion, and it's only getting worse. Fast forward to today. Democrats have a supermajority. They have every statewide office and majorities on most school boards. Governor Polis has incredible influence and power. Why don't his buddies at the teachers union raise hell? Don't they care about the safety of the teachers? 2 of their own were just shot at Denver East. None of them are doing anything to make our schools safe, to keep our teachers and administrators safe, to keep our kids safe. Parents, it is up to us. No one is coming to save the day. It is on us to either pull our kids out of public schools to keep them safe or put such tremendous pressure on the politicians and school administrators that they have to act. Take my friend Max. His son attended a school in a Florida district that had a policy similar to a proposed Colorado legislation. Broward County, now Policy 5006, allowed students convicted of serious crimes to go back into their classroom and strongly encouraged principals not to report incidents to law enforcement. So what happened as a result of Policy 5006? On the surface, it was incredible. Crime statistics in schools went down dramatically because they weren't being reported, and the superintendent became a rock star, speaking all over the country in support of their new restorative justice program. Because of this new policy, between 2014 and 2017, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School reported 0 incidents of bullying, harassment, physical attacks, threats, and intimidation to the Florida Department of Education. That's right, 0. Now that's progress, right? Of course, there's the other thing that happened. A student accumulated 55 disciplinary incidents. The assistant principals at that school didn't have him arrested. They instead decided to ban him from bringing a backpack to school because they worried he'd bring a weapon to school and do something horrific. And that's exactly what this monster did. He walked into Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School and shot 34 people. 17 people were murdered. One of them was my friend Max's son, Alex. The evil young killer at that high school was even able to legally buy a gun at 18 because school officials chose not to refer his criminal behavior to the police. They didn't have to, based on this policy. School counselors actually stopped a referral for an involuntary psych evaluation by the school resource officer. So in a state with a tragic history of school shootings, our Colorado state legislature recently tried to pass the same type of policy that removed all consequences and discipline for students committing acts of violence. Governor Jared Polis even touted this bill in his State of the State that year. Let that sink in. Our governor and legislature wanted to pass a bill here in Colorado that would make it more likely a horrific tragedy would happen again to our children. And there's more. Another terrifying bill was introduced a couple sessions ago that would go a step further. Yes, further than that monstrosity of a bill. SB 21062 would have gotten rid of bail requirements for many serious crimes, including domestic violence, sex crimes, and arson. It would have asked sheriffs to keep their jail population as low as possible, and it would have stopped police from being able to arrest people for various felony crimes, including sexual exploitation on a child and assaulting a first responder. This in a time when crime numbers are going through the roof in Colorado. Instead, Denver Public Schools pulled school resource officers out of schools. And while the governor stood by and let that happen, Denver East had a lockdown every day for 3 weeks. And following the most recent shooting, Polis hasn't had a press conference or used his bully pulpit or his millions of dollars that he had no problem with spending in the campaign this last week to do anything. Nada. Zip. Zero. He hides in his Boulder house and takes comfort in his kids attending an exclusive private school, or touts spending precious dollars to the tune of $65 million on electric school buses instead of school safety. It's time to change the political climate. Put so much pressure on the system that the wrong people will have to do the right things, finally. Hit them in their pocketbooks. Pull your kids out of the schools and the money goes away from the teachers' unions. Teachers, start a micro school. Help homeschool families. Go to work for a private school that care about your safety. It's time for us to do something. Our children are in danger, from the violence to the drugs, the crime, to the pathetic administrators and school board members that don't have the guts to harden our schools.